I bought a new flat about 2 years ago. In this flat, in the bathroom, there are 2 sinks. I thought that would bring me some joy. It is a constant reminder. And so what I've had to do, this is what I'm doing now in my life. I'm actually doing this. I'm using both sinks. I now, every day, brush my teeth in the left sink, and in the right one, mainly cry. I did fall in love about 5 years ago. Fell in love 5 years ago, but with somebody I invented, which isn't ideal. And he was based on somebody who existed, but because I had such low self-esteem, I took every negative attribute I felt about myself, converted those into positive attributes, and projected those onto him. Thus, he would heal me and complete me in my life. Initially, I just liked him because he was really thin. I really liked that. Like, thinner than me, ill thin. I don't know why I like that. I just like the idea I could go on a date with someone, and it could be their last date. A lot of it is narcissism, really. I realised my type is me, but better. Which I think is okay. I just need to find somebody who wants himself, but much, much worse. I went to see him in this play that he was in, and he was really vulnerable on stage, and I really like... Vulnerability to me is quite sexually appealing. I don't know if you... Like, you know, there are people who are more like, well, we know what we're doing, we've done it before, we'll do it again, everything's fine. To me, it's much more sexy if someone's a bit more, oh, I feel faint, you know? It's hot, right? So... I went to see this play on the press night so I could perhaps meet him afterwards, and weeks have been building up to this moment, and all I could manage when I saw him at the party was a kind of polite nod, and I don't know if he saw it, he didn't nod back, and then I felt awkward about approaching him at all, and an hour went past and I couldn't approach him, and then I saw him leave. I saw him leave the theatre, his rucksack on his back, his little beanie hat on his head, and as he got further and further away, it became harder and harder to move, and he was gone. Gone. 3 weeks go by of sadness, pain, regret. I've turned him into the only person I can possibly be with in my life. A lot of it was ego. I just felt like he was going to become a great actor. He could make people cry, and I could become a great comedian and make people laugh. And if we were together, we could be like a two-man Robin Williams. All the talent of Robin Williams, but in 2 separate thin men. I didn't know how I was going to meet him again. And then I was in a shop in Covent Garden that sells vintage clothing, and he was there, in the shop. I felt in that moment that God had brought us together. I don't feel that now so much, because it feels like the thought of a deluded moron. But there he was, in the shop. And I don't know how you feel. Maybe you think, well, he walked into that shop at the same time as you with his own legs. No, I put him in that shop with my God mind. Now, some people will say, well, you know, if we do create our own reality, what about the Holocaust? What about victims of child abuse? Do they create that in their worlds? And the thing you have to understand about that is... Shh. For whatever reason, he was in that shop. I knew I had to approach him because this was a moment and I couldn't have any more regret. I also knew I couldn't go up to him with my personality. I don't know if you can tell fully from the tone of my voice. This is not a voice that lends itself to getting sex or relationships. In my ideal world, I would have been able to go up to him and just say, hey... How are you? I saw your play the other week. It was great. Oh, thank you. Oh, of course. I remember the nod. Why are you crying? I've got too many sinks. I don't know why, but I feel I need to ask you if you'd like to go and get some coffee with me or a juice or something, and I don't know, maybe if that works out, we could move to the country together. Okay, well, let me just purchase this effortlessly cool cardigan, and we can talk to an estate agent. Here's what actually happened. Because of my personality, I saw him there, he hadn't seen me yet. It was about a metre away from me, there, that thin. And what I thought, for some reason, what I thought would be really cool and seductive would be to just stand in the middle of the shop and shout his full name. He turned round, alarmed. I could see the terror in his eyes, but because I'd started at a certain volume, I thought it'd be too odd to get any quieter. So I'm then just shouting at him about the good reviews this player's had, and he's going, oh, I don't really read reviews, and he's all timid and vulnerable, which is why I love him. And I think the difference between us, because I think we were both quite shy as children. I think I did a lot of research on him. But he retained that shyness, and it makes him beautiful and sensitive, and I decided shyness was something to be overcome, and I think it's in our training. He went to a really good acting school in London where he was taught to nourish his sensitivity, to nurture his vulnerability, and that's what makes him a great actor. I went to a Saturday morning stage school in Essex where we were taught that whether we were singing, dancing or acting, just do it loud. So I didn't become good at any of those things. But now I was in London talking to this actor, and I suggested this wonderful avant-garde club on a Monday night, which he hadn't heard of, which meant that I could say, well, I'll email you the details. That casual. He said, OK. I then had his email address. He gave me his email address. I triumphed over this fear of rejection, this fear of being in the moment. I had his email address. And then this final moment where we seemed to level out. Up to now I'd been his crazed, desperate fan, and then, just as I was leaving, he said, oh, do I know you from something? And I said in as quiet and modest a way as possible, I sort of do this small pop show on Channel 4, but it's on very early in the morning, you probably haven't seen it, thinking that he might say, of course, you're really funny, you're really funny, you're really funny. Not, oh, OK, in the same tone as my grandma when I showed her my arsehole. But I had his email address. I went home and I composed the most beautiful, funny little email. 6 friends confirmed it was a beautiful, funny email. I pressed send, and this is very much the end of this story. He never emailed back. Thank you. Ideally in this situation, laughter is better than pity, but you're quite right. It's not a funny ending, is it? It's not funny. He didn't email back even something negative that I could do something with. He just indifferent. Not funny, is it? It's not funny. So not only did he ruin my life for 5 years, he's ruined this.